I am just so pleased for the last couple of hours that we have spent here, especially in where you see a small rural area so far advanced technology. I mean, this place is, they've really got it plugged in, literally plugged in. And they've got where you can go in and monitor that house. They have programs in which you yourself can call and say, hey, look, I'm spending a lot of energy. Can you come out here and monitor my house? I think that is a great program that Wiregrass offers, that they'll come in, they'll show where your energy is at in that house, they'll show where it's leaving, and give you some answers. That's the biggest thing. When we were talking about some of the support mechanisms that they have in place through different corporate, through different groups such as Habitat and stuff. When I sat down and heard those stories of how they're actually helping the least of these, that's amazing to me that they can do that and they're doing that. The other, again, is the technology. When I sat down and seen that they are on the front lines of what's happening across the country, not just in the state, but in the country, and they're far more advanced in a lot of areas than other places, even in Alabama. So that they can pinpoint problems and get to them within less than minutes of the situation. That's amazing that they can do it. To have a lineman to be able to punch in a problem on a computer or a Garmin, come along and then instantly find the directions to that problem. That's, to me, they are very up on it, and I was proud of the tour today. A cooperative, too, is more like a family. It's a group of all of us put together. We're all consuming energy, and that's the main purpose. So if you get involved in your cooperative, there's a lot of things that you can learn and a lot of things you can do. And you can help your neighbor out as well. And that's a big thing about cooperatives. If they're not just focused in on energy, they actually are focused in on the community. And you'll see that in just about every electric cooperative you go across the state on. And that was really big, especially from where I was from in Coleman. Overall, we as Public Service Commission, we monitor and we regulate the three big utilities in the state. That would be Alabama Power, Mobile Gas, and also Alagasco. So what we do is they are a private monopoly. So we make sure that their rates are not too high and not out of line with the rest of the country or within the state boundaries. What we are is the regulatory authority for the state of Alabama. So the Public Service Commission has more things than just energy. We also do some transportation issues and some water issues as well. But on the bigger side, we are the monitors for the big monopolies in the state. You have a couple in here, and we make sure that their rates are in line with the way in which they're producing their power and also the previous topics of efficiency and their diversity. But as a commissioner, when I first got elected, I was sort of looking at the overall picture, and it's not just those who we regulate. I want to see where our power consumption comes from our state, and also from all the surrounding areas. So I'm going around and really and truthfully looking at all of the power, all of the energy stuff that we have in this state and what we are being produced. I'm going to coal mines, I'm going to power production plants, I'm going to rural electric people, so that I see where it comes from, how it's produced, and who's using it. So it's a knowledge-based type thing. So the Public Service Commission is very important in this role, as that we are sometimes the monitors and we set the standards. We'll set the standards for other people we may not monitor or regulate, saying, hey, this rate's acceptable, this rate's not acceptable. I see how you get to this rate, therefore I can justify and say that it's acceptable. So that's what we're doing, and that's why we're going around the state visiting it. Besides, Alabama's a great place to just go around the state at. It's a wonderful, beautiful state. You've got cool mountains in the northeast, and you've got hot beaches in the south. So it's fun to visit on those things. But that's one reason that we're doing it, and to see the diversity that's already here. Everybody says we're based on one thing. Well, we're not. We have a lot of different things and components as far as energy. And the Public Service Commission is a huge, you should say, a group that can come together, and we can look at the energy consumption and energy uses in this state and really and truthfully want to educate the citizens about it, let them know what's available out there, because we see it. And to go around and see that makes my job easier, that I can say, hey, I'm down in Wiregrass Electric, man, you should see what they've got down here. One of the things in which I'm going across the state, and I'm doing different avenues, is some of the stuff we've already talked about. One, that we have to have a mix of production in this state. We have to have the energy diversity going along in the state. We cannot do away with coal and keep our rates and stuff where they're at. So we have got to come in with gas. We've got to come in with hydro, solar, wind, all of these different units, and make sure that mix is good. And we need to have the people understand that. Sure, it sounds great. Let the sun produce the energy and do nothing, but you've got to know the cost factors on all of these things. And then let's get the diverse energy that we need as far as the production. But then also it comes across to the reliability side. As a consumer, I want to make sure that when I go over to that light switch and switch it on, it's going to come on. That's the reliability that I want out of that company or out of that co-op. And thirdly is the efficiency. We've got to have people start understanding how important it is to know what energy you are consuming. And so that's what we're trying to do across the state, is bring those factors into play. The fear of it is that, you know, you're sitting down as a company and this company's putting this thing on your house that's monitoring your house. Well, it's really reverse in what our psyche talks about. That is for our benefit. And so when you're talking about that, being able to go in there and look at what my house is spending on a daily basis, so you can do that with these meters. And so as a consumer, that's going to make me more efficient in my energy use. And it also is going to give me the knowledge that I need. Okay, this is burning way too much energy. There's some other things, too, that it does. It lets you know when your kids are out in the garage playing band or something really big, you'll see those energy spikes. But really and truthfully, the smart meters is a technology that has advanced in itself. When we first seen these, they were microwave type transmitters. They're no longer that. They're hardcore line. They're not producing anything other than that computer sitting in your house. Matter of fact, probably less if you're on a Wi-Fi system. So some of that is, the fear is a little bit there. The biggest problem I'm seeing is they're seeing that a company is there. Well, you've got a product that they're purchasing. And I want to make sure as a consumer that the product you're giving me is as efficient as I can. And that is what you're doing with a smart meter. It's not the company monitoring you. It's actually you monitoring yourself and having that ability to do that. I was in a meeting, and I'll make a point, with some business leaders across the country, not necessarily just in Alabama, but they had facilities in Alabama. And we were talking about the cost of energy. Well, they were sitting there saying, well, Mr. Oden, it's nothing for us to look at Louisiana if they've got cheaper industry, and I've got a plant there. I can pull that industry right over there and not have a problem. It's less than a 2 to 3 month pull. So you have to keep those energy guidelines around for economic development. And when we're looking at it, and people are looking at our state, that's one of the key factors in which they look at, is what the cost of energy is. And so if we can go in there and make sure that we have a low cost energy and a reliable energy source for these industries, because they're not going to burn it just 12 or 13-hour days. They don't sleep. They go to about 24 hours a day. So we have to keep that cost low for them to come in. And when you do that, you say, why? Well, the ultimate factor is it does create jobs. And these industries puts people to work. And if you have a working people, then everything else flows.